Unusual habits can be great, but they can also be terrible, as I'm sure some of you can attest. What are some strange behaviors you've seen in your roommates, and were they good, bad, or rad?
I had a roommate who was a huge scuba fishing enthusiast, so he'd come into the house with this dripping wet wetsuit carrying these nasty-looking cabezons. And at first it's bad, because the house is wet.
What is a cabezon?
This gangly-looking bottom-feeding fish. They feed on little sand crabs, and yeah, I feel like this is graphic, but they were just the ugliest-looking things, but they're delicious. So for the first day, it would be bad because the house would smell like fish and everything would be wet and muddy. But then when he got around to frying them, it would be rad because he'd share food.
Okay.
I had a roommate last year that she didn't really care about her own privacy, and I walked in on her and her boyfriend 9 times.
Bad? Rad?
Really bad. One time it was with my dad.
You walked in with your dad?
Yeah, I walked in with my dad.
Okay.
On Easter Sunday, I went home, and then my dad walked in my room to help me bring up my stuff, and there they are.
Wow. Well, I mean, the way that sentence was constructed, it could have been worse. Okay.
I have a similar situation. I was in a triple, so there was 2 bunk beds, and my roommate, it might have been her anniversary, and her boyfriend were having sex while I was sleeping, like, on the other bunk, and my other roommate was, like, right below her. So, like, we were all in the room, and it was just really, they like to do that a lot, but we just tried to ignore it.
One roommate's clean can be another roommate's nightmare. Have you experienced any disputes over cleanliness with your roommates, and was the outcome good, bad, or rad?
I admit I am kind of a neat freak at times. I don't care if it's like there's clothes or stuff like that, but one of my roommates had like SpaghettiOs on her desk for like 2 weeks. It was so gross. It was bad.
What did you do?
I tried to ignore it. I was like, oh, you gonna clean that up? Eventually? Okay, cool.
We have a chore list to help combat that, but every once in a while someone will leave a plate that's really recognizably theirs out, and the expectation is you do your own dishes. One time, someone neglected to do a specific bowl of Lucky Charms that had been left out, and it stayed out for about a month. And by that time, the green melted, and all the shapes were gone. There were no more hearts, stars, and rainbows. It was just a bowl full of mold. So, not bad. Worse than bad.
Oh.
I think radically bad.
Most roommates are not sold separately. That is to say, they come with friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, sometimes even pets. How would you rate your compatibility with your roommate's accessories? Good, bad, or rad?
Rad. I think it's good to have more people living there. I'm a huge fan of urban density. If that means everyone's got a girlfriend, that's great. And usually they'll all chip in and help pay utilities, if not rent.
And for me, it was bad. My roommate's boyfriend moved up from California with all his belongings and moved into our triple, along with her friend. So there was 5 of us sleeping in this triple for maybe a month or 2 until I was like, hey, this isn't cool, guys. I can't move.
How did that conversation go? Hey, this can't go on.
It was awkward, and they knew I was angry. So it was just one of those awkward conversations you have to have.
I'm ethnically Jewish, although I don't really practice that much. And for that reason, people assumed I'd be naturally great at paying the bills. So they would give me all the bills, and I was in charge of it. And once the notice of water shutoff started coming, they realized that I had just been forgetting for the last couple months. So at that point, they staged a pretty lengthy intervention, and it worked. We have someone else working on the bills right now.
I'm really awkward when it comes to like talking to someone about a problem. It usually goes, I don't really like what you're doing. So, could you stop?
No.
Not good at it.
So it sounds like when you have a conflict with your roommate, you pretty much have to do something about it, or you have to be the one that moves out. Is that what I'm hearing from you guys?
I think so. I mean, after my first couple quarters with those roommates, I moved out because I was like, I can't handle this. But after that, we went on roommate dinners. So they're great people outside of that fact, but living with them, not so great.
I feel like I hear that a lot. Like, there are some qualities that make someone a good roommate, and they overlap but don't necessarily encompass the qualities of a good friend. What do you think is the difference between like a roommate and a friend?
I think it's the difference between lust and love. I have people that I'm willing to spend a little bit of my time with, but there are only so many people that I can wake up every morning and be just really excited to see them on the way to the shower. And when you find one of those people, you just know it.
So true love is to roommates as lust is to other friendships?
If this is the SAT, yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. I think that's about all the time we have for this week. I'm your host, Lara O'Neil-Dunne, and I hope we'll be seeing you next time on The Good, the Bad, and the Rad.